Man, I just want to hear from you a little bit, just how long, or just talk a little bit about what led you to Emmanuel, how long have you been here, and what were some of the things that just have stood out to you in your time as a leader and as a coach here at Emmanuel Youth?
Yeah, so when I first came into college 6 years ago, I was just kind of super excited to be in a new state. I'm from Wisconsin, so I moved here. Whole new atmosphere. I had known of Emmanuel because of my brother. He used to work here, but just I came here and I fell in love with just the atmosphere and the people. And so I immediately came to youth one week, met Phil, met Terrence, and just got plugged in immediately. And it's been really cool to see just all the different people that have walked through here, and the leaders, the pastors, all of you. That's probably been one of the coolest things for me. And then one of the biggest blessings I've gotten to see is just students that have graduated that I used to be leaders of, and now they're leading, whether it's here or another church, just serving and just impacting the lives of students, adults, people. I think that's been one of the coolest things to see for me.
Now, you've also helped lead several missions trips with us. We have the classic El Drenched 2018. We had Guadadu 2019. What have been some of the moments and memories that you look back on that you're taking with you as you get ready to step out of Emmanuel Youth?
I think just the team bonding, just how such a diverse group both times of leaders and students was able to come together and just do something awesome for God. That's something you don't see on a regular basis. So just seeing, like, by the end of, like, middle of every trip, it just seemed like we all had become best friends. Everybody was laughing together, crying together, hanging out together. And just that team bonding and that dynamic was some of the coolest things.
One of the many things I've appreciated about you has been your intentionality to create moments where community can be built. Open gyms for basketball, like even talking to some of your guys before tonight, some of the memories that I just instantly heard was game nights, whether video games, like I said, basketball or spike ball. What are some of those moments that you're gonna miss with some of your guys?
Just the competitiveness. I mean, whether you're my student, whether you're my peer, whether you're old, young, I love to beat you. I don't care what it is. It could be lawn darts, it could be sorry, it could be literally anything. It could be throwing quarters at a wall. I love to beat you, I love to compete, love to make those relationships, so.
I think there's a story as I was thinking about tonight, which is really bittersweet because, like I said, man, you've been such a great leader, but even for me personally, you've been a great friend, man. It's been so cool to go on these trips and just to see you continue to grow as a leader. I remember there was a moment we were down in El Salvador, and we found out the day of that we had to split the group up to go to 2 different church services, and that you were shoulder tapped to speak that night, and you had known like less than 24 hours that you were going to speak. Do you remember that? Like, what were some of the emotions and things that you were navigating in that moment?
I was kind of caught off guard, but it was also pretty cool just because, like, the church I was able to speak at was a church of mostly ex-gang members and current gang members that this ex-gang leader was the head pastor of. And he was ministering to some of these hardened criminals and people, but I've never seen God move so much in an area than I saw in that church.
And it was so cool to see you step out in obedience, because in those moments, it's super nerve-wracking because you're like, okay, there's already a language barrier, and I feel like God's given me this word, but you handled that so well. One of the coolest things I've seen the last 6 years, man, of you serving here that I'm also going to miss is you have the spiritual father, or the fatherly spirit that you have for your kids. Like to see you will cry over a student. You will, like when you're praying for them, when you're encouraging them, there's such an intentionality that you have. And to even hear some of the kids that have come back from trips, it's like, oh, that's Papa Connor. That's my mission trip dad. And to even see how parents have trusted you, that's one of those things in youth ministry. It's one thing to have a student trust you, but when a parent goes, oh, Connor's going, they're fine. They're fine. That's a big, big deal. And I've been so grateful for that, Connor. Like I said, just I feel like I'm a better pastor, I'm a better friend because of you and just even what you've called out of me. What would be some final words of encouragement that you would share to the students that are in the room here, some of your former students, now friends that are watching online? What would be some additional words of encouragement you would share with them here tonight?
I'd say just go on everything you can, whether it's connect groups, whether it's mission trips, whether it's camps, conventions, even just a Wednesday night. Like, you never know what one night can do for your life or for someone else's. And most of the time, you kind of come to church expecting for things to impact you. But I'd say it's like the people and God impacting you in a much more profound way when you just consistently show up and just go to those things. And just cherish these moments.